Hudson River School painter. Of course, we see them as old masters now, but they were the contemporary artists at the time. So the museum always envisaged a full spectrum from the ancient to the contemporary. And we continue to live by that. And indeed, the notion of looking at historic art through the lens of contemporary art is one of the driving factors that is motivating our occupancy of the Breuer building now that the Whitney has moved out, and which you all know we will be programming from March next year. So historical art through the lens of contemporary is one critical factor. The second is this moment we live in. We're living through the most amazing revolution, really, since the Industrial Revolution, because of technology. Technology is providing us with a means to reach out to existing audiences and new audiences in a way we've never done before. And as many of you will be aware, in the course of the last 10 years, the Met has really been making a big effort to populate the internet with meaningful content about art and about our collections. It started with the timeline of art history, the history of art told through the lens of our collections. We now have all of our publications online, all of our scholarship, all of our catalogues. We've layered in on top of that a series like Connections, where we went to 100 members of staff around the museum and asked them to talk about works of art that were meaningful to them in a more subjective way, validating the fact that, of course, all of us respond to art in subjective ways. We followed that with 82nd and 5th, where we went to 100 curators and asked them to talk for 2 minutes about one object that really inspired them. And most of them had trouble limiting it to 2 minutes, but that was the concept. And now this series, produced by the same team that developed this previous series, brings in a new roster of voices. And what is that roster? Well, that brings in the third critical factor in this series. We've always known that among the audiences that come so regularly to the Met are the artists who live in New York, that the Met is a place of inspiration for many of the living artists of our day. And so in this series, the idea is that we go to contemporary artists and hear their take on our collections. And Chris Noe will talk more about the process that led to this, but many of the artists are with us here this evening. And I'd like to thank you and your colleagues who have been so generous with your time in making what I think will be a whole new window for audiences to our collections, to your voices. It's just, I'm just thrilled with this series. I have formal thanks, because this, along with thanking the artists who've made this possible, it's funded by Bloomberg philanthropists and some of our colleagues from Bloomberg here this evening. And I should say that Bloomberg's vision in funding innovative projects like this is really helping us extend the reach of our collections and of our mission. And with that, I'm going to hand over to the series director, Chris Noe, who is General Manager of Creative Production in our Digital Media Department, and who will walk you through this new project. And along with thanking Chris for this, I'm kindly credited with conceiving this project. But the reality is that, as all great things, it comes out of dialogue with many people. And the team that has really crystallized this have been Chris Noe, Teresa Lai, the other series producer, and Jen Sherman, the producer who's worked with them. So I hope at the end of this evening you'll congratulate them, and indeed all the other members of staff who's assisted in this. I think it's really wonderful. And with that, Chris, it's yours.
Thank you, Tom, and thank you all for coming this evening. thank you, Tom, for that introduction and for your amazing support of the staff and our work here at the museum. Let's take a look at the trailer for the Artist Project.
As an artist, what you make is an extension of yourself.
There's no optical experience as radical as the one that takes place in LA.
I think the way to swim into Greek pop galleries is to think about cartoons.
The painting is screaming, that color is screaming.
I think it's brilliant, making art look like it's not about skill.
Because it's how he gets to break all kinds of rules.
It was the first time I had seen the world through a grown woman's eyes.
We are seeing ourselves. That's us, that's a human experience.
The things I resist the most are probably the things I should study the most.
I'm interested in using the past to break open into the present day.